What's up everybody, it's 2Bricks and I'm here with a brand new mock to share with you guys today. This is a little bit of a first for the channel because I am creating something that is intended for younger audience members to be able to appreciate, put together and enjoy with their parents or older siblings. This is the Crimson Firehawk from the upcoming young kind of junior level preschool aged show that is coming out on Disney Plus and Disney Juniors on television. As of the time of the recording of this video, there are 4 shorts that are available on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel that you can check out if you're interested in the show. Particularly if you're a parent who's looking to introduce your kids to Star Wars for the first time and you want something that is, it's specifically aimed at them. And the show is really cute. It's well animated. The characters are fun. The ship design is really cool. As you can see here, I think this is a pretty awesome Star Wars ship. And it's set within the High Republic era, so it's kind of a very hopeful and fun time for the Jedi. I mean, relatively speaking, in their history, they've had a lot of strife. But this is kind of a time for fun and adventure and growth and learning, and you don't have to worry about any of that Order 66 business because it's set like 100 years in the past before the main events of Star Wars. So really a perfect kind of era and a perfect subject matter for young kids to kind of dip their toes into the Star Wars saga. Just to mention, these are not characters from the upcoming show. We are getting an official Lego set, which looks very nice, and it has a lush temple setting that is featured heavily in the show as kind of the home base of the young Jedi. But these are 2 characters from the Freemaker Adventures because that's also a show aimed at younger kids that involves Jedi and Lego. So I just decided to use them as stand-ins to demonstrate the capabilities of my ship here today because the official set isn't out yet as of the time of recording. So basically what I want to do is go through and give you a quick tour of the ship, its features, why I think it's really fun and suitable for younger kids to put together. I've definitely designed it in a way to make it challenging and fun, but not too difficult for younger audience members to be able to play with and put together. And I think it's just a really fun experience for parents and kids to get together and build a Lego set. I know some of the fondest memories I have in my childhood are the few times that we brought either a second-hand or a new Lego set home from somewhere or another and sat down and put it together, and that was definitely our cherished memories. So I think if you have the time and the ability to create some memories with your kids with some Lego, it can be a really good time. So yeah, hopefully that helps you achieve those ends and have some really fun times with your kids who are fans of the show. So yeah, let's dive in and take a look at the specifics of this, and I'll talk through some of the design choices that I made to make sure that it is suitable for younger kids. And yeah, let's just kind of dive right in. So taking a quick look at the ship from all angles here, it's an interesting mixture of Jedi shuttle from sort of the Clone Wars era, the Jedi Defender cruiser from the Old Republic, and kind of takes inspiration from a whole bunch of different things, including outside of Star Wars. I would say this is kind of like a Star Wars-ified version of like a Quinjet from the Avengers, particularly with these back wings here just having a very, it gives it a very bird-like appearance, and I really enjoy that about it. And it has the kind of rear loading ramp that just sort of, I don't even know if Quinjet has that, but it just seems to remind me of that when I first saw it. That's what I thought of. And it's very colorful. It has the really nice red and white color scheme, again evoking the fact that it is the Jedi Order that is associated with this. It has a really fun bubble canopy up top with a couple of what I assume are cannons, but since it's a very kid-friendly show, those could be sensors or something else to that effect, or they could just be cannons that are not used for violent purposes. Like, for example, if some meteorites need to be cleared out, or some, I don't know, there could be all kinds of creative ways, that things could need to get blasted that don't involve violence necessarily. So I'm pretty sure that that's what that'll be used for. And then we have a bunch of different engines here in the back of different lengths, the ones that are mounted into the wings here. So it's just a really fun design overall. And then on the underside here, you can see also these wing structures are themselves some type of engine outlets with a blue glow that comes out of each one, and that is accurate to what we see in the show. So I'm going off of the YouTube shorts that are available right now for the main inspiration to be able to build this. But we did get a really good look at it from a lot of different angles, albeit while in motion. So there's a few shots of it coming into land where we can see the underside. So it actually has 3 landing skids that come out of the bottom of the ship in the show. which I've just represented here with just these rounded tiles, mainly because I wanted this to be able to be sort of pushed around on a surface like a carpet or something like that without any snagging. And so I just felt like that was a fun way to incorporate the where the landing gear would be, and help to make this a more effective play toy, which of course is what this is intended to be. But yeah, I really like the mixture of Jedi shuttle and transport, and I always think transports are a really fun hero ship for Star Wars. They always have just a really good kind of rugged feel to them, and this is no exception. It's a really cool little ship. So let's take a look at some of the opening features and things that you can do with the ship. So in the show, being as how this is a cargo ship of sorts, there is some cargo that is seen in one of the shorts that involves the transportation of a little Tuca cat, which is a fun Star Wars creature. In this one, though, I have a crate which is loaded up with a couple of what I'm going to call kyber crystals. There's actually a few crystals that are included as well with the upcoming set, so I thought that was a fun, it's a very Jedi thing, right? The crystals for their lightsabers could be precious cargo that might need to get transported somewhere. So you can actually load the crate up here, so you can just open up the back door here. So it's very easy, very simple, just a single piece door. Nothing fancy there, and then you can just put the crate in, and it has a natural stopping point, which is built into the design. Sorry, I'm just getting it stuck. There you go. So you can load it up in the back there, and there's space exactly for that cargo, so that's really nice. And then you can actually load up your pilot and I guess potentially your gunner into the craft itself. So I'm going to go ahead and put, because this guy, I actually forgot his name. Dang, I love this guy, but he has the short legs. I'm going to go ahead and sit this gal, whose name I also forgot, in the front seat here. Man, it's been way too long since I watched Freemaker Adventures. I got to check that out again. But yeah, the entire front canopy here just comes off in one piece. So it includes this front section of detailing that comes with it, and it just studs in at the front here. You can place her down in the cockpit like so. And I remember having so much fun as a kid with Lego levers that were for characters to hold onto. So I included a couple of levers here because it's really fun, at least in my eyes, once you have your character sitting down in there, to line up their hands in just the right way so that they can be holding onto the control sticks. There's something about that very tactile feeling of like that the character is really piloting the thing that you get from holding onto a couple of control sticks that I really wanted to replicate that for young kids today. So there you go. She can sit in there and she can hold onto the control sticks and really look like she's piloting the ship. She has a couple of control consoles as well, and a blue, I'm guessing that's like a screen or something, like maybe a holo projector that I included in there just for the sake of fun, to have a little bit more color and some visuals in there. Kids can imagine whatever they like to be in there. So then we can just put the cockpit piece back on very easily. So it just pops right on. And then this roof section comes off all in one as well. So it takes the bubble with it. And then that allows you to see your cargo. So if it ever gets stuck, you can just, you can see here, this is the loading ramp. You can just either push it out or you can pull it right out of the top. So there you go. And then here you can see the cargo loading area that has just the panel piece here that is designed to keep it in exactly the right place and make sure that it doesn't go in too far. Then we have a seat for our secondary character in here. So he can either be sitting down, or I guess, like I said, in this guy's case, because he has the short legs, he cannot be sitting, but he'll just stand there, and then with taller characters, their heads pop up out of the bubble canopy there so they can really see outside. And if you have a character that has a lightsaber, which a lot of these characters will since they're young Jedi, you can go ahead and place that in this little area I've put to either side, which relies on bracket pieces to give the exact right room for a lightsaber to be stored whole without having to take it apart or clip it into anything. And then that way, the reason I did it that way is that you can just turn the ship upside down and it will fall out for you, so you don't have to like reach in there and do anything fiddly to retrieve your lightsabers. You can just put them in there and then take them out just simply and effectively. So I thought that was something that would help younger kids who might get frustrated trying to clip things in and get in there with their fingers and do stuff. So that was the thinking behind that. So then if we close everything back up again, you can see here everybody fits in very nicely. And yeah, I should probably demonstrate what the what the bubble canopy looks like with a character that has the taller legs, where they can actually see outside. Okay, so I've gone and switched around the characters, Rowan and Cordy. I can't believe I forgot their names. I had to look it up in between the takes there. But yeah, so there you go. So you can see the character with the short legs can stand and can still pilot the thing, no problem. And then the character that is standing in the back can see out of the bubble canopy when it is in place there. So it all just kind of works out whether they're seated or standing. And I think that's really good because, you know, there could be a different range of figures that we may end up getting as part of this series, and it's, you know, it's fun to be able to have some variation that the ship can accommodate. So pop this crate back in here like so, close up the back, no problemo. And yeah, I think just as a toy, I think this is really fun and effective, and I just want to take you through and show you some of the decisions that I made to make this suitable for younger builders that are getting into Lego maybe for the first time. So sometimes I'll use a variation of different subtle color differences. Like, for example, here I'm using flat silver for these elements here, for the detail elements. And I might go ahead and do dark gray, light gray, flat silver, medium silver, all the different colors that are available to give a little bit of texture and variation. But in this one, I'm restricting myself where I want everything to be one color, so it's easily identifiable, so you don't have to try to figure out the difference between this color and this color. You know, it's the same across the board. So the stud in here is flat silver, or yeah, flat silver, and so are these, and so are these, and etc., etc. Try to keep the detailing nice and symmetrical where possible. Mainly, this thing is just bricks on top of bricks stacked up, with the exception of a little bit of sideways building back here. And so you build up some brackets, and then you start to assemble the back wings nicely like that. And I didn't want to have too much in the way of sub-assemblies that are like, you know, big groups of things that you put together and then clamp on. I wanted to have it be a very centralized experience here, where you're just adding on to the main body of the ship and expanding out and out. So for the most part, you're just placing things onto the ship as you go, and then so even these fins here, you build them in place on the ship. I actually did make these bracket pieces here dark gray, just so that they do fit in a little bit nicer with the overall color scheme of the ship. But looking at it here with the light gray, I think I might change it back. I actually think I like that a little bit better. But yeah, so just thinking about the instructions for later sake. And then in here I have the engines where, so, you know, this is a single cone piece which can be knocked off. That is true, so is this one. However, for this main part here, so where the kids are going to be grabbing and playing with the ship, I wanted to have a bar that runs through the middle of this engine to keep it from just being knocked off all the time. Because things getting knocked off all the time is one thing that definitely frustrates younger builders. I know this from experience because I used to work at a Lego store, and I've seen kids play with Lego a lot. And yeah, little pieces that can easily get knocked off are no-no. And then for these engines here, I included just a very, very simple little bit of Technic building in the fact that there are a couple of pins that you have to insert to place these engines in here. So just to kind of dip the kids' toes a little bit in the beginnings of some Technic building. But it's, again, very, very simple, and it all just plugs in as one unit. So this is the one part where I've made some sub-assemblies that have to be plugged in separately. But I think that, you know, it's very minimal, and you don't get frustrated with a large assembly that you have to like spend a long time on and then clip in. You basically just put together, you know, one. You go through the engine piece here, and you just get all these lined up. You plug your Technic pins in, and there you go. So for the actual main body here, I used a lot more regular Lego bricks than I usually ever would. So you can see down in here, there's a lot of actual large, proper Lego bricks. I'm usually using plates, wedge plates, clips, and all these other things that are designed to capture the most detail possible. And here I'm just using kind of more chunky pieces to fill out the space without having to do a lot of fussing around. It's very much just like, you know, you get the pieces in there the way that they need to be. And I just think overall, it's a very satisfying build. Like for younger audience members, I think it will definitely provide a little bit of a challenge in terms of like pushing their concentration if that's something that they struggle with, but not to the point where it's going to become frustrating. And I think the end result is very, very swishable. It's very playable. It doesn't have any obvious weak points. You can pick it up by the wings. You can hold it up by one wing, And these back sections here, you can even, fly the ship by those. There's plenty of strength back there, so there really isn't any obvious weak spot on this that's going to cause a kid to get frustrated when playing with it. And that was my aim. So yeah, and I think I don't want to ever speak down to a younger audience, so I definitely didn't hold back on including nice fun details like these little greeblies, little cannons here with the bars and the clips, and the little front grille details there. I just think that all looks really nice, and I wanted to capture what we see in the show as much as possible. And again, yeah, I think just because kids are younger and they might need things to be simplified, they don't need them to be bad or look bad or sacrifice on quality. So that is kind of my whole thing here, and I think it works out pretty great. So hopefully you guys get a kick out of this. If you are a parent that is planning to watch the show with your kids and maybe build a ship or something like this, I would love to know what you think. If you end up getting this as a companion piece to the official set, that would be really cool. The way that LEGO typically patterns their set releases for something like this, for a kind of a smaller offshoot, a less known property that is part of the Star Wars banner, you may end up getting one set or maybe even two. That tends to be the pattern, but no more than that. So I would actually be quite surprised if we ever see an official rendition of the ship. And so that was something I definitely felt like, after watching the short, I really wanted to bring to everybody to be able to build. So yeah, hopefully you guys think that this is cool and worthy. And for those of you who don't have kids and who are going to watch the show and build it anyway, kudos. You're not limiting yourself by what people consider to be quote unquote for kids or not. It's just whatever. It's just Star Wars. It's all a good time. And at the end of the day, it's all Lego bricks. So yeah, I'll definitely be picking up the official set. I think the figures look great. I think it's going to make for a nice parts pack as well, if nothing else. And I'm excited for it. So yeah, I'd really love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Do you enjoy the ship? Are you going to be building it? Etc. to that effect. I would love to hear from you guys. All right, so I'm going to get working on the next video. I've got lots more to bring you guys. So thanks so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.